Welcome to Crawl or No Crawl. This is Carolyn Holzman. Today is January 30th, day number 514 of the Indexation Research Project. Thank you for your comments. Please keep them coming. When you engage, you really make this more fun. And I tend to do more testing when I'm having fun. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. So leave a comment if you like this kind of SEO content. Now, if you're looking to the Google Search Status Dashboard to give you information on the nature of crawling, indexing, or serving, you might as well ignore it. Absolutely nothing has been charted on this. So, nice try. I just take this as like, yep, this is what they had said, and they're kind of confirming it now in this actual dashboard. So that's what I take away from this. All right. Now, these videos are reports on the Indexation Research Project that started in August 2021. And I use a simple keyword test that I put a keyword in the HTML. And when I find it, that confirms that the HTML, the initial pull, has been captured. And the second test keyword is set up in JavaScript. And the only time that Google sees that keyword is after the second pass through what they even call the render machine. So one of the main reasons I continue to test is really to demonstrate for us all that Google is a machine. It is not omniscient and not able to know before crawling if your content is quality or not. Now, today is a test day. Let me go over here to the data log. No new content has been found by its keywords. Now, we are running a little late on the Google Search Console page report update. I'm still not able to, I think if you watched yesterday's show, I told you about last Tuesday's test. The URL was sort of, crawled but not indexed, but couldn't find it in any of the buckets further down, like all the reasons why your page isn't indexed. And I share this with you not to confound you, but to give you the idea to think that it is impossible, that there's a tiny little inkling in our brains that we can consider that Google systems might be broken or perhaps under construction. And for the record, the index but not findable behavior that I described is not the case on the test site whose data is compiled by mobile crawlers. I'm having literally no problem getting that immediate render discovery crawl, and then within 48 hours, new content being findable. So what I'm doing here by only testing on the test site where the primary crawler, the desktop crawler, is responsible for compiling the data, that's where I'm focusing the testing efforts right now. All right, so here is the Google Index Detector page, and you can find it by Googling the words Google Index Detector. Think of it almost as your daily cheat sheet. So even if you're able to get your content indexed, just understand that there's a lot of, I have tested data that proves it, but there are a lot of people that reach out to me and say, I'm having the same trouble with my site with the designated crawler as desktop. So this is the desktop test site, the one where I'm currently 100% testing. You can see here that this is today's results, and this, I put this in context so you know the last time it did test on was January 28th. This one was January 13th. And as of this morning, I did confirm that there were mobile rendering bots actually doing render crawls. And here we go down to the test site where I'm not currently publishing new content. So that's why they're all red in a way. This is the one that's interesting to me, that not only I expect this because I don't have any content that hasn't been indexed, but over here, that is interesting that I cannot find it so far this morning. So now most publishers and SEOs have not had a lot of experience distinguishing between new content, which has never before been indexed, and when they make changes to their update. So you can kind of see through this what's going on. Now, let's take a quick look at the bot and server log data. All right, so this is what we're looking at over the weekend. So it seems like it's very low, very little bot presence, more like a ghost town over the last 24 hours. Now I'm looking at the rendering crawls over the past week, and this is just speculation. I suspect there may be a disconnect between some of the internal systems. We can see that new content is being crawled initially. There's a discovery crawl and a discover rendering crawl. That's when all the pieces get pulled. And the page is indexed according to Search Console, but it doesn't seem to be able to make it over from that being indexed into being served system. Now, I can absolutely guarantee it's not a quality content issue. I have plenty of awful content that I can get through the entire indexation system on the primary mobile crawler prepared data site. So I took one of those URLs that showed as indexing, but isn't findable, and I put it in the performance tool. And guess what? It's getting impressions. It says its average ranking is 8.5, but under queries, there's nothing. So, and not all of the previous week's URLs show impressions. It just happened to be the one that I first checked, crazily enough. But even that one, it only showed impressions from the 28th, not before and not after. So it does suggest that perhaps the serving system for new content from a desktop primary crawler data site might be a little wonky. That's where my attention goes. And as you can see in general, there's not a lot of render recrawling going on since 100% of the week's tests were published on the desktop crawler. There was evidence of discovery rendering, but excluding that, not a lot of the rendering process, pulling the HTML, but rendering from those pages, not a lot. So with reduced presence, the delay of the page report update, we're 6 days out from the last one. Normally we have them every 3 days. So maybe they know something needs fixing. So no problems for getting existing content updates made. I mean, I made changes last night around 8 o'clock, and what I was working on this morning went from page 6 yesterday to page 1 today. So you can make edits. I'm not saying that. It's new content that I'm focusing on. All right, well, check out this week's Confessions of an SEO. Who knows what I'll be talking about. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.